Good afternoon, I'm Darla with Sunset Patio Restoration, and I'm probably a little bit dirty, but I've been sanding all of this teak today. And we have a little bit of sprinkles, so I'm gonna take a little break and give you a little teak oiling 101 DL. Because this teak has kind of been a little bit of a problem that I didn't anticipate. So let me show you, let me go grab a piece here and show you what we have going on. So typically this homeowner and her husband take care of this teak themselves, but they're unable to do it. So they called in me to do it. And on the underside of the teak, it's like it's been varnished. And I don't work on teak that has had varnish put on it because it's super, super hard to get off. And she assured me that there's no varnish on it. So it took me a few minutes working on it and realizing what happened with this teak to make it feel that way. So let's take a look at it here. So this is the bottom of the sofa. This is the bottom part that sits on the concrete. And you can see here, I have sanded over this several times and I knew it wasn't gonna come off. But, and it's not, it's just embedded in there. And as I came across here, it was really, really sticky, and I still don't have it all off right here. But we can see here, it's a little shiny. We got some shininess going on in here. And what happened was, and the client told me she probably used 5 or 6 cans of teak oil on these pieces. There's 2 sofas, 2 chairs, and 2 ottomans. That's an awful lot of teak oil to be going on these pieces. So what happened is they put the teak oil on, they put it on really, really heavy, and they didn't put it on in thin, smooth layers and then buff it out. So if you're going to put teak oil on, your teak needs to be clean and dry. It needs to go on a very thin layer. More is not better. A very, very thin layer. You wait till it gets a little bit tacky or draggy to the touch, and when it gets right in there, you take a nice clean microfiber and you buff that out really hard. And then when you're done with that, buffing it out, it should feel really, really nice and smooth like a baby's bottom. So we do have a lot of mold here. The mold is really, and this has been sanded. This has been bleach washed and sanded, and it is just really, really buried into this teak. And this is really, really good teak. These are super, super heavy pieces, so this is a good high quality old growth teak. And you can really, I mean, I could barely lift this with one hand. It's pretty heavy, so you can really tell a good quality teak just solely by its weight. So that's the problem we have here. At some point you have to realize that we're not going to get all of this off. It's just not ever going to happen. So we have to do, it's going to come out beautiful no matter what. The other issue with teak oil is teak oil promotes mold. So let's go take a look at this guy down here, because this is actually sitting correctly. So water sits here and it's, was oiled, and then it doesn't dry off. And the teak oil promotes the mold growth. So if you really, really want to oil your teak, because it doesn't have to be oil, but if you really, really want to oil it, then you need to make sure that after it rains, you tip your stuff up, remove your cushions, make sure your cushions are dry, because the seats, anything that's facing up, anything that's flat facing up where it doesn't drain off, that is where you're gonna get your mold. That's why the mold doesn't grow, on the backs. Anything that's vertical, anything that's horizontal is where you're going to get your mold growth if you do a lot of oiling on your teak. So that is a little teak lesson today while I'm waiting for the sprinkles to stop. If you have any questions, you can call me at 951-808-2951. I'll be happy to answer your questions or help you out.